The purple blaze of the Zepyrian war cruiser cut through the darkness above Haven's rest colony. High Commander Velter stood on his bridge, surveying the human settlement with calm certainty. His claws moved across the controls with mechanical precision. Soon this colony would fall. "Colony shield strength?" he asked. "Down to 60%, Commander," came the reply. Velter nodded. Once the barrier dropped to 40%, the humans would have no choice but to surrender. That was how civilized warfare had been conducted across the galaxy for 3,000 years. No bloodshed, no chaos, just mathematical inevitability. Firepower against shielding. Equations dictated surrender. The Zepyrians had taken 47 worlds by following this model. Their weapons were unmatched, their shields impenetrable, their computers flawless in predicting outcomes. "What of the humans?" he asked. Analyst Kixara, younger and sharper than most of her kin, reported, "They've sent a distress call into deep space." Velter chuckled, metallic and harsh. "To whom?" "They are primitives. Chemical rockets, projectile weapons, ancient relics." But Kixara frowned. Something about human history unsettled her. Unlike other civilizations that had abandoned violence after early wars, humanity never ceased fighting. For millennia, they battled each other endlessly. Even their games glorified combat. It was as though war was ingrained into their nature. "Shields at 45%, the weapons officer called. Velter ordered them ready to accept surrender. Yet, before the expected white flag came, the sensors screamed. A colossal vessel was racing toward them, dwarfing any known human ship. The comms crackled, and a voice, steady and commanding, filled the bridge. "This is Admiral Marcus Kane of the USS Vengeance. You attacked human civilians. Prepare for consequences. No plea for negotiation. No request for terms. Only a warning." Velter demanded communication, but Kane ignored him. A red blip on their tactical screen was closing at reckless speed. Unshaken, Velter ordered his 12 cruisers into battle formation. He had the most powerful fleet in the sector. Victory probability, 98%. His battle computer confirmed. Still, Kixara grew pale as she read deeper into human history. "Commander, they don't fight like us. Every weapon, tactic, and technique they developed has been tested in real wars. Their technology is forged in blood." Velter dismissed it. "Primitive toys cannot stop us." Moments later, the USS Vengeance emerged from hyperspace. It was enormous, armored in thick, gray plating. Not energy shields, but actual metal armor, a relic unseen for centuries. "All ships, fire," Velter commanded. 12 cruisers unleashed torrents of purple energy beams, but instead of collapsing, the human warship shrugged them off. The weapons splashed harmlessly against its armored hide. Confusion spread across the Zepyrian bridge. Then the Vengeance responded. Its weapons weren't energy cannons but railguns, tungsten rods accelerated to near-light speeds. The first salvo struck, and a Zepyrian cruiser vanished in an expanding cloud of debris. For the first time in centuries, Velter felt fear. His mind, trained to trust numbers, faltered. Kixara's voice was barely a whisper. "They never abandoned kinetic weapons. While we perfected energy shields, they perfected ways to tear through them." The Zepyrian fleet reeled in disbelief. Their energy cannons, once thought unstoppable, had no effect. The Vengeance, cloaked in dark armor, advanced fearlessly, ignoring every principle of civilized warfare. Velter's second cruiser tried evasive maneuvers, but another tungsten slug ripped through it like paper, detonating the vessel from within. The aliens watched, horrified, as two ships were annihilated in moments. On the human bridge, Admiral Kane remained composed. "Status?" he asked. Commander Lisa Brooks reported calmly. "Enemy ships rely solely on energy combat. Thin hulls, heavy shields, no armor. They're not built for this." Kane nodded. The Zepyrians had mastered a war of numbers and predictability. Humans thrived in chaos. "Target locked," Brooks confirmed. "Fire." More alien ships vanished. Meanwhile, Kane prepared the next stage. "Captain Murphy," he called. Boarding parties ready? Murphy hesitated. Boarding, sir? In the middle of combat. Kane's voice was unwavering. Correct. We're taking one of their ships intact. The idea was insanity to any galactic commander. No species risked close-quarters fighting when war could be calculated at safe distances. Yet the Vengeance launched dozens of armored shuttles. Small, agile, weaving through energy fire, they slipped between Zepyrian cruisers like hunters stalking prey. Velter shouted for them to be destroyed, but they were too fast and unpredictable. Inside the lead shuttle, Murphy's Marines prepared for impact. Clad in full combat gear, rifles primed, they carried grenades, explosives, and the tools of brutal close combat. 30 seconds, the pilot announced. Sergeant Collins grinned beneath her visor. Think they'll know what hit him? Not a chance, Murphy replied. The shuttle slammed into a cruiser's hull, magnetic clamps locking tight. A torch cut through the armor, and within moments, human soldiers poured into corridors the Zepyrians had never defended. Panic erupted. No training manual covered this. What do we do? Cried an alien officer. I don't know, his commander stammered. Murphy's squad advanced like a storm. Smoke grenades clouded the halls, flashbangs blinded defenders, and bullets shredded through unarmored bodies. Their weapons were not beams of light but projectiles tearing through flesh and steel. To the Zepyrians it was barbaric. To humans it was war. Within minutes, the bridge was seized, its crew trembling as Collins reported, "Bridge secure." Back on the Vengeance, Admiral Kane saw his Marines succeed in less than 10 minutes. It was almost effortless. The alien fleet tried to recover, pulling back to longer range, desperate to reestablish their tactical comfort. Kane gave no quarter. Launch fighters. Brooks hesitated. Sir, these aren't true fighters. Just shuttles with guns strapped on. Kane's cold reply. Then let's see what they can do. What followed defied galactic logic. Human pilots did not fly in perfect formations or follow computer-optimized patterns. They scattered, darting unpredictably, using asteroids for cover, striking from random angles. Zepyrian computers, designed to counter order, could not comprehend chaos. Their energy blasts swept empty space while human shuttles ripped through weak points. On the Zepyrian flagship, Velter's horror deepened. Why can't we hit them? He demanded. Analyst Kixara whispered the truth he dreaded. Because they fight with experience. Every tactic, every maneuver they use, they've tested in real war. We have not. The Zepyrian fleet was unraveling. Their computer-driven formations crumbled under the chaos of human tactics. Kixara studied human military archives in horror. Commander, their history is nothing but war. They turned combat into an art. We've been studying equations. They've been practicing survival. Admiral Kane pressed the advantage. Captain Murphy, prepare to capture another vessel. Boarding actions became a nightmare for the Zepyrians. More human shuttles crashed into enemy hulls, disgorging Marines who stormed through wide, undefended corridors. Alien crews panicked. They had energy cannons, yes, but designed for ship-to-ship duels, not narrow hallways. Humans moved in coordinated squads using smoke, flashbangs, and brutal precision. One by one, bridges fell. Within minutes, whole cruisers were under human control. Back on the Vengeance, Admiral Kane issued his first demand. Surrender. But not to negotiate, only to deliver consequences. When Velter finally ordered his surrender signal sent, relief spread through his crew. Yet Kane shocked the galaxy. Order rejected. You attacked civilians. Now you face the cost. No one rejects a surrender, Velter gasped, his scaled skin pale. Kixara trembled. Commander, I think they intend to make an example of us. In human history, when enemies slaughtered their people, they didn't just win, they destroyed them. On the captured cruiser, Captain Murphy gathered the alien prisoners. With grim ceremony, he showed them humanity's legacy. Footage of Viking raiders, Roman legions, medieval knights, trench warfare, World War II battles, space marines on Mars. The aliens shook in disbelief. Why do they keep fighting when wounded? One prisoner asked. Murphy's reply was simple. Because retreat means their friends die, and humans don't leave friends behind. Meanwhile, Kane escalated. Human fighters broadcast across every channel. Not messages of peace, but recordings of human war cries, weapons fire, commanders shouting under fire. Then came battle hymns, songs about sacrifice, honor, and never surrendering. Dr. Park, the ship's combat psychologist, monitored the aliens' reactions. "Admiral, their crews are breaking. They've never faced an enemy that loves to fight." Fear spread faster than fire. Zepyrian ships stopped firing, some crews abandoning stations entirely. Then Lieutenant Rivera made history. In his small fighter, he rammed alien turrets deliberately, destroying them at the cost of his own craft. When that wasn't enough, he ejected, landing on the enemy hull with his thruster pack. He planted explosives by hand, crippling their shields. Velter's crew stared in disbelief. "No one fights in space," they cried. "Impossible." But humans did. By now, half the Zepyrian fleet was destroyed or captured. The rest tried to retreat, but Kane refused to allow it. Pursue them. The Vengeance and its fighters chased across star systems, annihilating ships that fled, seizing others intact. For the first time in galactic memory, a species turned retreat into a slaughter. At last, with his last 3 ships cornered, Velter pleaded for mercy. "We'll pay compensation, tribute. Whatever you want." Kane's reply cut through the stars. "You thought war was about equations. It's not. War is about will. And humans. Remember what we're fighting for." The final Zepyrian ships surrendered, not because they ran out of power, but because they could no longer face humanity's relentless will to fight. The war was over, but its consequences shook the galaxy. News spread at faster-than-light speed. One human warship had annihilated a Zepyrian fleet. In the Galactic Council chambers, representatives of 50 species demanded an explanation. High Commander Velter stood before them, disgraced. His purple scales faded to gray. On the central display, the recordings told the tale. Surrenders rejected, retreats pursued, ships boarded mid-battle. "They fight," he stammered, "as if they enjoy it." The chamber erupted in murmurs of disbelief. Meanwhile, Admiral Kane faced a new challenge. The USS Vengeance, though victorious, was battered. Engines strained, shields failing, hull scarred. Worse, they were deep in alien space. Commander Brooks suggested retreat, but Kane refused to limp home helpless. Instead, he ordered his engineers to cannibalize the captured Zepyrian ships. Sergeant Collins and her Marines ripped out alien shield generators. Torres built crude converters to merge crystalline alien circuits with human wiring, and Rivera, recovered from his spacewalk stunt, worked on fusing Zepyrian cannons with human targeting systems. Within 3 days, impossibility became reality. The Vengeance was reborn, stronger than before, a hybrid of 2 civilizations' technologies. At the council, analyst Kixara presented her findings. Humans are not another warrior species. They are warfare, perfected. Every defeat makes them stronger. While we sought peace through rules, they adapted through endless conflict. They evolved not past war, but through it. Uneasy silence filled the chamber as the truth sank in. Soon after, 3 separate alien powers mobilized fleets to test humanity. Each outnumbered the Vengeance dozens of times over. Kane's officers urged retreat, but he shook his head. "If we run, they'll believe we got lucky once. If we stand, they'll learn the truth. We don't need luck." To the approaching armadas, his transmission was simple. "You wanted to test us? Then attack together." 73 alien ships surrounded the lone Vengeance. The galaxy expected its destruction. Instead, hybrid shields absorbed the first volleys, converting energy into fuel for human weapons. Kane's order was calm. "Return fire." Kinetic slugs wrapped in energy fields shredded cruisers like glass. Human Marines boarded enemy vessels in swarms, turning captured ships against their own fleets. Rivera's pilots, flying modified fighters, dove through impossible maneuvers, dismantling battleships piece by piece. Chaos spread. Commanders broke formation. Crews panicked. By the end, Nearly 30 alien ships were destroyed, many more disabled, and the rest fled in disarray. The lesson echoed across the stars. Humanity didn't just win, they redefined war. Months later, human diplomats stood before the council. "We offer knowledge, technology, and protection," Ambassador Watson declared. "Accept, and the strong will protect the weak. Refuse, and you return to a galaxy where might makes right." The vote was unanimous. Humanity entered as equals, but also as guardians. Admiral Kane, now Fleet Admiral, commanded a growing defense force of hybrid human warships. To his officers, he left a final truth. "We came to the stars as explorers. We became warriors because we had to. Now we fight as guardians by choice. The galaxy is safer because humans stand watch." The age of civilized warfare was dead. The age of human protection had begun.